there's no one to play with.
I
Don't
can't.
worry,
You
honey.
watch
Things are
me.
gonna get better.
I
You're
will
gonna meet
take
some
this
new
thing and
friends here
tank it.
soon.
Ever since Tony's family moved to another country,
This is for being a little creep.
Folks, welcome to day
Something
2 at Hill Country
unusual's
Comicon. You
been
guys have a great
happening.
time so
You
far?
having another
Yes?
nightmare?
No?
The
Yes?
vampires were back.
Having a great
I
time.
dreamt it
I'm
every
so glad
night
you're here,
since
Jonathan.
I've
It's good
been
to see
here.
you, man.
Good to see you too.
First things first, let's talk about what we just watched. So we're watching the trailer for Jerry Maguire. About how often do you revisit the flick in whatever capacity?
Never. I am really happy with, I'm really grateful for the I got to figure out what I want to do for the rest of my life when I was that young. And there's so many amazing movies to watch that I don't watch any of mine because I want to watch things that other people are in and learn from that because I'm still trying to be the best actor I can be. And once in a while I'll revisit it for like the only time I'll really revisit it was like the 20th anniversary. I had to watch it for like a Q&A and I forgot what happened in it. So I had to watch. That was the only time. And that was 5 years ago. So and then between then, so yeah, 5 years ago was the last time I watched it, and then before that it was like when it came out or something, and even then I really couldn't watch all of it because there were some parts that were inappropriate when it came out, so my mom would cover my eyes and my dad would cover my ears. So so I mean it really never and that's not a bitterness thing or whatever, it's just because I want to watch all the amazing movies out there.
You've had the opportunity to do VO work, you've done camera, you've done some stage too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Is there a medium you prefer to work in now? Or is it just I don't care when you call me, just call me?
Television is so great right now. Obviously, like film is always my first love. Television is so good right now that I would really like to do a character that I could do for an extended period. And I think television also is where the movie stars are coming from now. It never used to be that way when I started in the industry. If you did film, you didn't do television. And if you did television, it was hard to get to film. And now television is very, looked at in a different way. It's very classy. There's some amazing shows, great writing, great filmmakers are making it. I'd love to be on a show, but hey, work is work. And if it's a great project, it's a great project. And whether it's film, TV, theater, voiceover, I just gravitate towards good material.
When we had our last conversation back in December, you were getting ready to debut a flick at a festival, horror thriller, more thriller than horror.
Yeah.
Or where was you? Well,
yeah, call it a thriller. Yeah, thriller. Let's call it less horror, more thriller.
Talk about that flick because I loved watching that. I got a screener copy of it because I've got friends in the film festival circles, so I got a chance to see it. First off, I want to see, but tell them what we're talking about. That flick is just so tense. Very tense.
Yeah.
Great.
So, Broil. Yeah. Broil is a movie I did 2018 in Canada, and I play a chef who they don't really explain it in the movie, but how it was written is he's on the spectrum, and he is also a contract killer. And so he gets hired to cook a feast and poison the patriarch of one of the world's most powerful families. And so a lot of it takes place at this dinner party. And it's such a weird story and such a interesting character that it was one of the coolest things I've ever done. And I'm really glad you liked it. It's, not a lot of people saw it.
It's trapped in film festival hell because they're trying to get distribution for like so many films that are being made. I mean, Netflix can't pick up everything.
Yeah, but
you want them to.
Yeah, you can get it. I mean, you could buy it on Amazon now. Got it. Yeah, it's got smaller. It was going to be theaters actually, the release, and then pandemic happened, so like it did get a theatrical release technically, and it was going to be, but now it's video on demand. I think iTunes as well. It's interesting. It's really I've always been attracted to those movies like David Lynch or like Donnie Darko or like stuff like that hit me at a certain point in my life that was really important to me during those years of like forming my opinion on films. And so I read the script and 10 pages in, I was like, can I do this? And the director had sent it to me, I guess, prematurely without first approving it by the producer. So the producer said no, and after I'd already read it and told that it was offered to me, and I was like, the reason I ended up getting it was they wanted to get another guy, and he was rep by the same agent as me, and he didn't want to do it, and you know, my manager, who's awesome, just really he kept sending self-tapes I did for other projects to the director and was like, he can do this. And the director's like, I know he can. I'll forward this to the producer. And it was actually an audition I did for Hunters, that show on Amazon, playing a white supremacist, that got me that role. And they saw I could be intense and I wasn't, you know, terrible at acting. And so I got to go do this, and it was an amazing experience. It's yeah, I don't know what to say. It's really interesting. It's really weird. It's really quirky. And I'm pretty happy with that. It's probably the happiest I've been with a movie for a very long time. It's, you know, it's by no means perfect, and no means, I would say, like, you know, earth-shattering, but it's very solid, and I'd love for you guys to enjoy it, and give me some feedback on Instagram, or I'm no longer on Twitter. It's a negative place. So I'm on Instagram. Give me some feedback. I'd love to hear about it, because I think it's an interesting character piece.
Are you able to take films like Broil or pieces from The Resident and use those reels that you send them out to people? Because whatever the stigma it might be, no, you're not hiring Stuart Little to be in this flick. You're hiring a man who can be multifaceted, who has really great gravitas on screen. Because really, I didn't know what to expect. After we had the conversation, I asked around, because I've got a couple of friends who work at Dallas International Film Festival. I said, did you get this submitted for, well, we got it submitted, but it wasn't really working. We already had our horror block, blah, blah, blah. Give me a copy. And I twisted arms. And it blew me away, because there's a weird stigma. And I know you've run up with this when you go into casting calls for, you know, not just Broil, but anything else, where you have to fight yourself. You have to fight, you know, the human head weighs whatever. You know, that whole thing. That's not, I mean, that was you, and I know you're proud of that work, but that's not who you are now.
Exactly. I think that in other professions, they see 25 years of experience, and it's definitely a plus. And in this one, it's kind of like, what has he done recently? I don't know. I don't think he's right for it, is the thing. Like, even The Resident, when I booked that, they didn't originally want to see me for it, because they thought that they wanted a schlubby guy, they said, and they thought I was too cute, was the word. I'm like, I'm 30. Like, I was 28 at the time. I'm like, I'm a man now. But my manager said, you know, I got you the appointment. Don't wear anything form-fitting. You know, grow out your facial hair. And I think that I fought them on this because it's a guy who's, you know, basically fighting to keep this relationship with this girl that he perceives to be out of his league. And my manager said, you know, and this is how he pitched it. He goes, you know, it doesn't matter if they're cute or not cute, or schlubby or not schlubby. Anybody has felt insecure and has wanted to fight for something that they thought, you know, that maybe they weren't good enough to have. They said, okay. And then I went in there and I got it, you know, and everybody else didn't look like me at the audition. And it just goes to show you that you can go and you can bring something fresh to it. But yeah, now that I had that piece and Broil, like, that's helped me get other stuff. And, you know, I think it's important to just keep going, because it's like, you know, longevity is the key. And if you love something, this goes with anything, artistic or not. It's like you have to do it, or you're going to wonder, you know, what would happen, what if, you know? And I think that if you don't go into something giving it your all, then you're not, you know, doing it justice, and not, you know, looking after yourself, because you're always going to go, I could have done a little bit better. And that's a horrible thing to live with. And I never want to live with the fact that I could have done a little bit better.
What are you watching right now? I mean, it's the thing where you ask the band, what are you listening to? And it's not their own stuff. It's always something else. You mentioned David Lynch a little bit earlier. What's in your Netflix queue right now?
Well, I'll tell you, the biggest thing that gave me inspiration this year, as far as acting and like character work, was and it came out probably, I think, a year and a half or 2 years before I saw it. Bodyguard with Richard Madden. It was such a great portrayal of someone with PTSD, and I really love the storytelling. I think it's one of the best TV pilots I've ever seen. And I go, you know what? That's the type of acting I want to do. You know, I look at that and I go, you know, and then, you know, also was really influential was Mindhunter. I gravitate towards a lot of that darker stuff. And then, like, on the lighter side, Schitt's Creek is great. You know, you want to watch that when you've had a bad day, and like, you're gonna laugh, you know, and, you know, so it's like I take inspiration from a lot of things. You know, at the end of the day, I'm a big fan. and I think you have to be if you're an actor. And I think people get too stuck up with their own stuff, and I think that's at a detriment to their character and a detriment to their abilities, because there are so many amazing actors out there. I'm not going to hate on them. I'm not a hater. Unless they're not nice, then I will. But, there's a lot of talented people, and you got to seek those out and look. Like, I look at people like, my own age, like Taron Egerton. He was amazing in Rocket Man. I was like, honestly should have been nominated, probably should have won. That was some BS.
But it was hangover from Bohemian
Yeah,
Rhapsody,
exactly, which sucks because he sang and he did it, not that Rami wasn't amazing,
No,
but it's
Mark
like
Martel did that singing though.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but it's like, I really wanted to see him get nominated because I thought that was amazing character work. He was brilliant. And I look at stuff like that and I'm like, that raises the bar for me. He's around, my age. And you see that stuff and you just want to be better. And I think it's important to go into that mindset. A lot of actors, I know, get sick of watching television or movies because they're bitter about their own career. I watch acting and I get excited about my own career because I'm like, wow, it's going to be cool when I'm doing something like that. I decided to live by a while ago when and not if, because life's too short to live with if. If you can push something off forever, when it's a matter of time, And I'm excited to see, when I do all these things coming up, and I hope you guys like them.
did you ever, when you were working on Resident, did you ever get a chance to hang out with Glenn Morshower on set?
Not really. No, I was like in and out.
Because Glenn, amazing actor.
Yeah.
He, 24, West Wing,
Yeah.
Transformers, and Michael Bay killed off his character and then brought him back. And the great story he tells is, well, Michael, I'd love to come back for Transformers 2, but there's a problem. You killed me in the last one. Oh, I'll give you a promotion if you want. You'll be General Morshower. All right, fine. I'll be there in 5 days. And
Yeah.
but it's a very similar mindset
Yeah.
that Glenn always espouses, which is, it's not, I can do this, but it's, okay, the answer is yes. Now let's figure out the rest of it. And I see that same philosophy with what you're talking about.
It's like life's too short not to be positive about things as well. Like, it's like there's so much out of your control in life in general, but when you're doing something like acting or painting or writing or, directing, there's so much that's out of your control that you have to control what's within your control, which is like your mindset. And like, it's taken me a long time to get there. And I'm still working on it. It's a daily task, but like, life isn't fair. It sucks sometimes and it doesn't owe you anything, but you can make the most of it is the positive thing. You can really make the most of it if you work hard and something will happen. Maybe it's not exactly as you intended it, but I went from working a ton where everyone wanted to hire me, see me for auditions, to not working for 5 years. And it wasn't anything like I was mean or bad. It was because I was awkward. I wasn't comfortable being myself, but I worked hard. I went to acting class. I did theater. I found myself, and I've gone from now not working to working a fair amount. And then my next goal is, okay, well, now I want to work on projects I really, really like. And so it's always challenging yourself to do more and to do better. And if you spend your life doing that, that's a life well spent, rather than worrying about the outcome of things, which is really easy to do, is like worry, well, what if I do this and then that happens, or I do this and this happens, or it doesn't happen the way I want it to. Well, like, it might not, but I do believe in manifesting things. I do believe in the law of attraction if you work hard. I think that's the big thing a lot of these books leave out. Like, the secret stuff is like, you have to work your butt off. But the harder you work, truly, the luckier you get. But it isn't luck. It's that you put it out there and you put a lot of momentum into the universe. And it's important to always keep that in mind, that like you can wish and pray for things and be gracious for things, but without the hard work, it's going to be very hard to happen. I'm not going to say impossible. Weirder things have happened. But also, if you're working really hard without the gratitude and you're a grump, you're going to attract stuff with that attitude where, like, I think it's very important to always be working hard and then be like, I say to myself once a day, whether it's in the morning or I go to bed at night, I say to myself, I'm grateful for everything I have right now, and I'm grateful for everything on its way. And I went through a really rough time recently, and this has happened twice in 2 years. Actually, when I booked The Resident, I was going through a really rough time. And I said, I'm grateful for everything I have now, and I'm grateful for everything on my way. Boom, booked The Resident, like a day later. Then this last time, I was really upset. I was crying. And I wiped away my tears, and I said, you're going to be grateful right now. So I said, I'm grateful for everything I have, and I'm grateful for everything coming on its way. I'm grateful for everything I have. I'm grateful for everything on its way. 10 minutes later, I got a phone call, got a movie. You know, and I'm like, okay, thank you. Like, whoever's watching me, like, you know. But it's true. Like, maybe it doesn't always happen in that fashion, but gratitude's really important. I mean, if you have a roof over your head, you have something to be grateful for. It's easy to complain about everything. You know, it's like at the end of the day, I also say I allow myself to feel poorly, and I will validate that and then find a way to move over it. But I will never allow myself to feel poor me, because I'm not going to feel bad for myself, because I have so much going on. I have great parents. I have a great sister. I have a little dog who I love. Like, I have a place to live. I have food to eat. You know, that's what you need.
If there's questions, by the way, please throw up your hands, because I don't want to dominate the conversation. It's about you guys. I'm just here sucking up the air in the room. Yeah, please, right here. Mm.
First of all, that's amazing. Congratulations. Um, you know, I've had a lot of really influential people. I think a lot of the people I met through doing martial arts, coaches and whatnot, have really pushed me hard physically, and so it pushed me hard mentally. And the resilience I built through doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for 14 years has made life a lot easier. When you do that, you know, and it's grappling. So they say when you wrestle, everything else in life is easy. And I think that's pretty true. I think there's been a lot of people I can't really like point out and say, like, you know, definitely my jiu-jitsu instructors I've had, my Muay Thai instructor I had, and then I have this acting coach, Josh, who I played the younger version of twice, and that's how I met him. He's been really great for me, and I think that like you take a lot of people's good advice, and there's a lot of people out there who give great advice, and you take that and you mold your perspective on the world. And I was like, you know what? You know, Tom Cruise was really, really good to me. Really was. And when I needed advice, he gave me advice. And Tom Cruise's advice, 90% of it was about being like a good human being, and being on time, and being prepared, and treating people right. And I think there's a lot to that attracts good things. And if you know, you can hear stuff about big movie stars, rumors, whatever. But if you ask anyone who's ever worked with Tom Cruise, they'll tell you that he's the most professional guy in the world. And it's true. You could not ask for a better dance partner with acting. You know, he comes to bring it, and he will stay as late as he needs to make sure it's 100%. And he puts his life on the line to give people entertainment. It's pretty crazy. You know, he really does. He's doing crazy stunts and holding his breath for 8 minutes and stuff. So it's like hanging off of airplanes. So I mean, I think there's something, you know, to be said for just trying to be the good person.
We're going to see Tom die on screen. You know that, right?
I hope not.
No, I mean, I'm not trying to be negative for the universe,
But he
this
really-
man,
this
he
person-
does not want to ever have a stuntman do something because
Yeah.
it feels inauthentic on camera.
Yeah, it's weird how, I mean, it's like you can never. I feel like he's not human. Where you can't really compare yourself to him. Like I've always been like, I want to be like him, and then I'm like, I got to be like me, because I'm not gonna achieve that in that exact way.
You're not going to break your ankle on screen and have them actually edit that footage into the film.
Yeah,
is what
how
you're
he
telling me.
like, oh my god, that was crazy. Did you guys see that?
And now he's going to space. He's
Exactly,
going into
into
space to
yeah.
film.
I think we're gonna look back and realize, like, wow, like, because I think that people get trapped up too much in other stuff. We're gonna look back and be like, wow, that guy really, you know, if you didn't realize it now, that no one brings it like that guy.
Yeah.
Like that guy makes consistently really exciting films. It's, I mean, there's no one I think quite with the resume. You know, a big fan of him still.
Have you started writing for
Yes.
screen, or is it anything that you're ever going to produce, or are you just writing it for you at this point, or is there a project you want to see produced for stage or play?
I actually, over the pandemic, I had this thing in my head for a long time, and it was very therapeutic for me to write out. And I guess it turned out to be pretty good. A production company attached itself to it, a showrunner attached to it, and we're going out with it in the next few months. And pretty confident we're going to sell this. And by pretty confident, I'm sure, and I'm excited to show you guys on TV one day this thing I wrote. So it's pretty cool.
Can you give us any insight to it at all, or do you want to
Nah.
hold it? Hold it
No,
close to
you're
your
gonna
chest?
see it, and you're gonna be like, I met that guy at that Comicon, and he said it would be cool, and it was cool. You know, you got to speak it into existence. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be really awesome, and I think you're all gonna enjoy it because it is about human elements such as forgiveness and empathy and becoming a better person and giving people room to grow. I can say that.
The interesting thing is your philosophy, and there's various pieces of it, and it's all coming into focus. And whether it's the MMA work or it's your outlook at the universe, but your positivity, A, it's infectious, but B, it has to get you through these really lean times too.
Yeah.
Because I mean, nobody's booking anything for a year.
Yeah.
You're at home. Some people are making sourdough. You're writing a screenplay. You know,
Yeah.
whatever the case may be, but how do you get other people who you've worked with and say, look, I can't tell you how to do your own thing, but this is how I'm doing that thing of my own. There, spreading that positivity has got to be like something that you look at and say, I can't be the only person who needed this.
Yeah, you know, I think there's an important thing to be said for sometimes you talk to your friends and like what I try to do now is I'm like, do you want comfort or do you want advice? You know? Because those are two different things. And sometimes your friends just want to vent. You got to be like, you're right. That person was mean to you. And life is crappy right now for you. And then sometimes you got to be like, let's look at the positives. You got to understand if people are receptive to it or not. You know, I think that's a big part of the emotional quotient, you know? And so it's like, yeah, I want to spread positivity. I want people to be happy. I want my friends to be happy. A lot of actors especially are very tortured. And, you know, I try to gas my friends up, you know, and be like, you're awesome. You're great. You're handsome. You're killing it. And it's nothing that's not true. I mean it. When I say it, I mean it with my whole heart. But yeah, I think that a lot of people could stand to look at things more positively. I think that you look at some of the biggest movie stars in the world and they're very good looking. But like I've met better looking people at Walmart, at, you know, like who work there, like, or like, you know, restaurants, waiters. It's not about that. At the end of the day, the world responds to individuality. And being yourself is a big key factor to that. And that's what I try to like talk to my friends about is like, doesn't matter if you're not this person or this person, you're this person. And that person matters. And so I think the most important thing is working hard, finding out who you are and doing work on yourself. It's a long process. I need to take my own advice like all the time because I don't. And I have a lot to work on. But, you know, I also know that you know, I did all these things as a kid, and it served the purpose of showing me what could happen. And it served the purpose of helping me find out what I want to do with the rest of my life. The lean times have served the purpose of now I have a perspective of being a successful actor and an unsuccessful one. And that having both perspectives is important. And now I'm more grateful than ever. I work harder than ever. And I know what's possible. And I won't stop until I achieve it. And I will. In the next 5 years, I'm going to do something that, you know, absolutely changes the game for me. And it's going to be probably sooner than that.
There's an economy to what you do with your delivery. You've got somebody like Marty Edelman who, you know, that man knows two gears, high gear and please get me off of this cliff. Yeah. But with your style, and I'm curious if this came about because of the work you did even with Stuart Little. Yeah. Because VO is a different form of acting from anybody else, but I think it teaches people how to give a better performance in a shorter space, and you expand the space if you need to make it work. And I'm curious if that's part of what informed your style now.
I don't know. I haven't really thought about that. I think that it's just life learning. I've had like you know, we're talking about people. I've had a lot of great mentors. I couldn't really narrow it down. You know, if you're being, you know, the best thing is to be a curious person in general and look around you and absorb what you can. For me, it's trying to be the version of myself that I know I can be. I don't know. Raise your hand here if you think that you are meant for something great. Exactly. It's because you are. And whatever it is, you got to find what that is. But because, you know, you owe it to yourself. But if you're born with that feeling, and I think a lot of us, if not all of us are, it's just about finding what it is. You know, we're all great in our own way. There's, you know, and for me, I just know that the best is yet to come, and I just say it over and over because I know it's true. And the more I say it, the more things happen. And the more I'm positive, the more things happen. And the more I'm better to other people, the more things happen. And I think that it's about just knowing. And I used to play small. I used to go, if you like me and I'm trying that. No, don't play small, play large. If people don't like that, that's fine. I used to only just want to be well liked. Now I don't care, and it's nice. It's really nice because I am a nice person. And if you don't like me, so what? Because it doesn't matter if other people like you. You got to like you, and if they do, that's a bonus. And you will find your tribe. You'll find your people. But at the end of the day, I can't sit around and worry about what other people are going to say about me. Now I have to put that into practice because sometimes they do. I mean, I'm in a very public forum being an actor. But I don't want to be that guy anymore who worries about that. I don't want to be like that, so therefore I'm not going to be. And I think it's extremely important to not care about what other people think about you. If you're going to live large, you can't live small if you want to achieve big things. You got to take risks. Sometimes it's going to kick you in the butt. Sometimes you're going to fail a lot. I mean, but when you get that one success, it's worth all the failures, The one, after having a lot go down before I got The Resident, getting The Resident wiped all those bad memories away real quick. Because you're going to fly to Atlanta to do something you love. And every time I'm on set, I go, God, I love doing this. God, it's amazing. It's really great that, I'm so grateful that I get to do this for work. This is great. This is awesome. It's like my first time every time. I get really nervous before. Hopefully everyone's really nice. And then I go there, and sometimes they are, and sometimes they're not. And you're like, well, I guess I won't be friends with them after, and won't add them on Instagram. But at the end of the day, it's like, so what? If you just enjoy what you're doing, that's what matters.
Do you have? I mean, anybody who has a public persona has to wall off this piece of themselves. I mean, sure, you can put that on the gram, that's fine.
Yeah.
You got rid of Twitter, congratulations.
Horrible. Horrible place.
Well, if you curate your feed, it can be great.
I try, but it's just the mean things, just that I just don't want to see it. It's like, I'd rather just read the news or watch the news if I'm going to get my news. The only thing I really use Twitter for, it's really stupid, is I would go and get the UFC updates for the pay-per-views I wouldn't buy. And that was about it. And then I was like, well, people are mean on here. And I just see negativity. I tried so hard to curate it, but I feel like everybody's upset nowadays. So like Instagram, I really can curate it. I'm like, I see jujitsu, I see dogs, I see my friends doing well. I'm good. If someone keeps being negative, I'll mute them. If I don't want to unfollow them, because I'm like, okay, you're not a bad person. You just make me a little sad. Because I don't like people who are like, poor me, my life is so hard. It's like, not really.
Do you feel like you could ever go back and I say revisit, but there's a different way for it than what I was talking about with McGuire. But coming back into a role that you hit previously and either see somebody else doing the VO for a different Stuart Little, or you being the parent for the human element of that. Do you ever see yourself coming back into a property like that?
I mean, Stuart Little, they keep talking about redoing it. I would love to be the dad. I think that'd be pretty cool. Be the next Hugh Laurie. He's great, man. He's awesome. He's so talented. I don't know, maybe. But I just think there's a lot of interesting stories to be told, If I'm going to do something and revisit something, it's going to be revisiting something someone else did. Like, what could I do? I don't know. Maybe a Steve McQueen movie. That'd be pretty cool.
Making me love you. That's horrible.
Yeah. Great Escape. That'd be great,
Bullet, man. Bullet.
Bullet would be great, I think like something like that, or do a biopic of him. No one's done Steve McQueen yet. They're always doing James Dean. James Dean's cool. Steve McQueen's way cooler. Let's be honest.
But I think that's the problem, is that I think people are so scared to screw that up.
Yeah.
I mean, James Dean, you have 3 films and you have the mystique.
Yeah.
You can put anything into that cipher.
Yeah.
But you'd make a good McQueen.
I think I could do it. I think I could really grow into that one.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Oh, all right, so you've got your screenplay. You're working on getting that produced. What else do you have coming down the pipe?
I just wrapped a movie called The Re-Education of Molly Singer, where I have a fun small part in. It's with Britt Robertson, Jamie Presley, Holland Roden from Teen Wolf. Really good, really funny. It's like Can't Hardly Wait, She's the Man, like those 90s and early 2000s comedies that we don't really see anymore, but it was a formula that really worked and was really funny. And I think it's one of those movies that everyone's gonna be able to watch and have a really good time and feel good and laugh a lot. And I have a really fun role in that. And I just wrapped that before I came here, so I'm really excited about that. And it looks like I'm doing something else next month as well. So glad to be, just grateful to be busy again, being in rooms, seeing people. It's like I hope that numbers go down a bit so we can continue being at these events, and I hope everyone stays healthy. But I'm just happy to be busy again, outside doing things. But best is yet to come.
Is the workload getting to the point like 2019 for you? Are you seeing that level of buzz and activity, or is it still trying to figure out where the balance sits?
Yeah, I think it's trying to figure out the balance, because I also auditioned for a number of things that never happened. Like I looked up because I was like, who got it? Nobody got it. They didn't do it. But TV definitely like ebbs and flows. Like there was one weekend a few months ago, I had 34 pages to memorize for auditions. I did it because I told myself I would. And I was like, okay, like, I'm just going to do it. I'm like, I can't put it in my mind that I won't be able to do it. It was really hard. It took a long time. But, like I was so happy things were back that like, I did it, and luckily I have some friends that can really annoy to run lines with me. And
I was just about to ask that. I mean,
I'll buy him coffee.
Crew.
My mom also runs lines with me still. She lives in Colorado, but we'll do it over the phone. She's awesome. She's actually a really good actor. I don't know why she didn't do it, but it's great to be auditioning again. I actually prefer the self-tape whole platform rather than
sitting in the room with 18 other people.
I like going in the room too. There's this magic to do it, but doing an audition tape, you get to put out your best work. You get to really like cultivate a whole thing, and I really dig it. It's been really good for me.
It is such a gas to have you here. Thank you very much for spending your time with us this weekend. I mean, getting caught up with you last year for the telethon was great, but having a chance, and if you weren't at the after party last night, there's a lot of things you missed out on. But you missed out on him tearing up Plush from Stone Temple Pilots, and that was boss. It was really great.
Thank you. Well, also thank you for having me be part of that telethon. It was really impactful, so I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we're dragging your ass back there this year too.
Okay, cool. Shout out to Dakota for making it happen. But I really appreciate that. I'm really honored you thought of me for that, and being here. And I just want to let you know I appreciate you.
Jonathan Lipnicki, kids, give him a massive round of applause. Thank you, man.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Steal this water though. I hope you don't mind.
You can't steal it. I gave it to you.